Yeah, right.
All right, Jeff.
Yeah. It's taking
We're
it's
live.
taking some. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're live.
we've been live for 15 seconds.
Yeah, live. Yeah, like always. What's up, guys? It's your boy Jeff with Rando and with Stay Puft 1983. Just hanging out here, just going on the cuff, just bullcrap, bullshitting, like whatever you guys want to say. But pretty much just talking about a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Well, let's. Some of you guys don't know that. Yeah, that Keep It Thorough Cubero actually AOK'd me some stuff, so actually kind of
Nice.
excited to show this off. So actually get really excited to show this AOK off. Let me make myself bigger so people can see this
So
nice
you keep
AOK.
saying AOK. You were saying it to me before. I'm not familiar with AOK.
It's an act of kindness.
Act of kindness. Okay, so it's an acronym.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. This AOK here. This first appearance of Lady Death on cover. Second appearance of Lady Death and Evil Ernie from Eternity Comics. So
nice.
Yeah, thought this was really nice, thorough, and really nice Christmas gift from Thorough. So it's gonna get graded. It's gonna get sent off, graded, and try to see if Polito's gonna show up at MegaCon to get Polito to sign it, maybe, and send it off.
Has he ever showed up to MegaCon though?
Yeah, he has. He showed up. I don't think he showed up there. I think he showed up TampaCon once. I think. But hey, I want him to show up at MegaCon so we can get it signed.
I feel like it's been a while since I saw his name on the listings. Like probably in the mid 2000s. Last I saw his name.
Yeah. So I'm excited, man. If he does come by in, like I said, he's getting this thing. I'm getting this thing signed by him. So, and then I got this other Lady Death from Boundless Comics.
Nice.
I know Sean got a couple of these. I know Stay Puft got a couple of these Boundless ones, and you got the one in color on this one. So, and then I meant to go pick up a magazine box. Didn't end up doing that, but I picked up some Red Sonja and some Vampirellas. Picked up this Jenny Frison cover. I picked up this New York Comic Con exclusive cover, all red cover from Vampirella.
Nice.
So, and then the colored version of the cover. Thought that was kind of cool. Couldn't beat the price. And this one from and I think all four are the same artist. So, and this one.
Nice. I will say, like, that's one of the cool things about the Vampirella comics is they always have some really great cover art.
Yep. And then I got another Red Sonja one sitting at the store over there.
Nice.
Sitting in the box. So I got that one, and then I got another one that he's gonna bring from his shop. It's or from his house. That's actually Red Sonja and
Jeff. I feel like you should be like holding a puppet in your hand because I can't even see your face. I just see your like hand. Like
yeah, you gotta change the screens.
Yeah, gotcha.
You gotta change the screen size.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's do that.
Okay, there you go.
Better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. I gotta wait a second. Okay. Better? Still can't see it. Yeah, still can. Hold on. Let me see if I can move it to where yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Pretty much pick those up for I always tell Steve, let's go out to Yancey Street, man. And Steve's always going, let's go with the Bull Street and all this other places. I go, dude, you never know what you find at Yancey Street. Like he has a bunch of stuff out there, like a bunch of keys. But you know,
which one, the regular Yancey Street or Yancey Street South?
Yancey Street South, with Chad and Courtney and all that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they got a lot. They have like a really good dude. He goes through like all kinds of like dollar books constantly.
Yep.
You know, buying up collections and then just kind of just selling off a lot of the books and kind of replenishing it. It's a really healthy turnaround on that.
Yeah, and I like it out there. I like it out there, but it's a little bit of a drive, but it's, you know what I mean. I like it out there though.
Oh yeah.
Robert, yeah, Robert's in the chat. The comic book G Spec Galvin is in the chat. Hey Robert, and then Will's in the chat too. So these guys are in the chat right now. Probably looking at auctions right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of YouTube auctions going on right now.
Nice.
Yep. And Robert's supposed to be coming down to MegaCon, so a bunch of people are supposed to be coming.
Sweet. I definitely have to go to MegaCon because they're hosting. Diamond is hosting the retailer.
Yeah,
okay.
I found that out from my shop. He was telling me about that. So he's saying that they probably gonna have a lot more creators than they have before because of Diamond being there.
Yeah. I mean, Diamond might even like bring some people themselves. I mean, a lot of retailers are going to be there, and I think the nice thing about a lot of the retailers being there too is because it's Florida. So some of these retailers, they're coming from like the Midwest and North, and while they're here in Florida, they get to go to like Disney, they get to go to Universal, and because it's all in Orlando. So it's smart. It's smart that Diamond's hosting their.
Plus, they can get to go to that Galaxy Edge since that's been open.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Star Wars. I still haven't had a chance to go yet.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, hey, Steve. Yeah, man.
A lot of people
cool.
are going to come down there to go to that and MegaCon around the same weekend. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, for me, I went to a retailer summit a couple years back. This was back when Mike Savage was he had the Uncanny Heroes, and so this was in Chicago. So this was my first time I got to go to C2E2. And I'm glad I got to go because one of my all-time favorite comic book writers, Mark Millar, was there, and he hadn't made like a U.S. Comic convention appearance in like over 10 years. So I went there, I got like a few signatures, I got to chat with him a little bit. It was like one of the coolest experiences, man. Like Mark Millar is like super nice, man. He's an awesome guy. And but we got to do the retailer event. And I had never done one before. I went as a guest. I didn't have my.
Now you're a retailer.
Huh?
Now you're a retailer.
Yes, now I'm a retailer, and the great thing is it's in Florida, so it's not like I have to pay for a hotel. I mean, I might have to pay for a hotel because it's in Orlando. I don't know. I might just drive there for the retailer event, and then when I'm done, just drive back home.
Can you bring guests?
Huh?
I said, can you bring guests?
Yeah, I can, but I mean, they charge guests to attend.
Well, all right. I'm curious anyway, so.
Yeah. I mean, they do like a breakfast, they do like a lunch, they even do like a dinner, and they have like publishers there, right? So like there'll be somebody there to represent all the independent publishers. So like somebody from Boom, somebody from IDW, somebody from Dark Horse. Somebody from Image, and what they do is they tell you like all these upcoming books. They're telling all the retailers like, hey, this is what we recommend. This is what you guys should be, looking out for. And then the cool thing too is as guests going to the retailer summit, they have like variants and they give out the variants. I think the last retailer summit that they did was in Vegas, and apparently Todd McFarlane was there because I think he was promoting Spawn 300. And so he might have had some special variants giving out to retailers. So like that's the cool thing about the retailer summit. So I'm excited to go and see like what kind of like cool variants I'm going to get, and then decide if I'm going to keep some of them or if I'm going to like sell them.
Nice. It's going to be real interesting that MegaCon weekend. With the Diamond
for sure.
And there's the amount of guests they can possibly bring in, like you said, with Todd McFarlane being at the one before.
Yep.
If Todd McFarlane's there, it's gonna be massive, man.
Oh, dude.
Plus, people gonna be bringing issue 300, 301.
Oh, definitely. Man. Oh, and Todd's gonna be. I mean, I think he's charging for signatures now. So it's like you got to make sure you got the money to, and then not to mention like there's like certain books he won't even sign.
Yeah, I remember seeing his IGTV video on that. You know,
Oh yeah.
So
I did manage to. It was at MegaCon. Not this year. I think it was either last year or the year before. And Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo were there, and they were talking about Dark Knight. Was it Dark Knight Metal? What was it? I forget the name of the story. Dark Knight's Metal or something like that. And they were promoting that. And then the cool thing was in the audience, Todd McFarlane was there. So he wasn't a guest. Todd McFarlane showed up to MegaCon.
I remember that because one of the guys I follow on Instagram was there, and he got a picture with Todd, and
So did
Todd
I.
wasn't a guest. Yeah.
That was pretty awesome. I got a picture with Todd as well, and I got to record most of that panel. And then the cool thing too is when they were having, I'll have to post it up on YouTube eventually. But the cool thing was like they had like people lined up to ask Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder questions about like some of the DC stuff they had coming out. And Todd McFarlane actually got up and he got to ask one of the questions, and he threw in like Spawn, like, you know, he's like, I forget what it was. Like, I don't know if he was like just teasing, like, other than Spawn being your favorite character to draw, like what other characters do you like? Like he said that to Greg Capullo. And they're like best friends, man. They're like, it was so nice because I got to see them like, at the end of the panel, because people were already lined up, like getting pictures with Todd, and but like Greg had just like walked up and gave like a nice hug, and he was like, "Oh, brother, it's so great to see you. Thanks for coming." And it was cool because like I was waiting to get a picture and I got to witness that. A lot of the people before me, they didn't see it. They got their picture and then they walked off. So.
Wow.
Well, Robert's got a question for all of us. I'm guessing he's asking if CGC is going to be there. If it's a bigger con, MegaCon, they should be.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, CGC is their base of operations is in Sarasota. So it's easy for them to go to MegaCon. MegaCon is the largest convention in the state of Florida, and CGC would be crazy not to go to the largest convention in the state of Florida. There's a lot like anybody that, any kind of retailer, any kind of grader, anybody that's really big in the comics, like MegaCon is the convention out of all the conventions in Florida to go to and try to make money.
And CGC got the biggest booth there too. I mean, it's hard not to miss it.
Well,
I mean, trying to find.
When Neil Adams is there, they both compete for the biggest booth. Neil's booth is pretty big too.
Oh, Neil?
Neil be taking up a lot of space.
It's easy for Neil though because he doesn't have like 20 employees working at his booth.
But it's,
this is him and his wife. And a few people.
Just joking up, his booth is pretty big, man.
Oh, I know. I remember. I mean, like anytime I work a convention and Neil happens to be there, I always make sure to stop by and say hi to him. He's always nice. At least he's always nice to me. I know some people have different experiences with Neil, but as long as you're upfront with him. Like I one time, because I used to work for CBCS, so I was working as a witness, and so one of the guys went to go get something signed by Neil Adams, and I think it was a Superman book, and we were talking about somehow we managed to talk about the Man of Steel movie, and Neil Adams immediately was like, "Oh, I didn't like it." It's like Superman doesn't kill. And then he started talking about like the Christopher Reeve movies, and he's like, Superman didn't kill in those movies. And then it dawned on me, and I was like, well, technically, because I had just recently watched Superman 2, and I'm like, technically, Superman did kill General Zod in that movie. Like when he like broke his hand, and then lifted him by the collar, and he threw him, and then he fell to his death into the Fortress of Solitude. So when I brought that up to Neil kind of just paused and looked at me, and he was just like, besides that, I still wasn't a fan of Man of Steel. Like he just kept going.
well, at least Christopher Reeve didn't just outright break his neck.
True.
He just threw him in there.
But I will say that I think that Michael Shannon's General Zod was a lot more vicious than Terrence Stamp's General Zod. But I mean, different films, you know, like there's only so much that they could have done special effects wise and budget wise for films back in the late 70s, you know, compared to now. Like now you can digitally input 1 million people and kill 1 million people, you know, digitally, you know, like you couldn't do something like that back in the 70s, you know.
Michael Shannon was like that militant, aggressive Zod, whereas Terrence Stamp was that regal, like kneel before me Zod. And I think that's why he stands out, because you like to say kneel before Zod.
Oh,
you know, whereas Shannon was so serious in his character that he didn't really have that character trait that Stamps brought to the character.
Well, I think as actors, they want to bring something different to the character, right? So they don't want to just initially copy what another actor did before.
True.
So like I totally get why, like, from the director's perspective and from Michael Shannon's perspective, like Michael Shannon is like, did you see the movie? What was it? Is it called Into the Water?
No, I don't think I've seen Into the Water. I remember him from the movie Iceman.
Iceman,
okay. Yeah, he did Iceman. And then I remember him in Broadwalk Empire. You know, that was another amazing show.
You got to see, like, I think it's called Into the Water, or you know what? Hold on a second. I got my smartphone.
There was another one that he did with Michael B. Jordan that I remember too. I seen that one.
I'm gonna look it up real quick. Shape of the Water, or Shape of Water. I think that's the name of it.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. That's the movie that won Best Picture, and it won Best Director, because Guillermo del Toro directed that movie. It's the same guy who directed the first 2 Hellboy movies. So when you watch this movie, man, Michael Shannon is straight up like intimidating, right? He works for like the CIA or FBI. The creature that's in the movie, they have the creature held captive. Well, the creature is broken out, you know, and so now he's like trying to figure out like who took this creature or who's harboring the creature, and he has his suspicions. And so there's this black couple that he like goes, because the lady that lives there, she works and she's friends with the lady who ended up harboring the creature. And so he goes to her to find out where this other girl is. And let me tell you something, man. He shows up in the rain. It's dark. And he just looks like, you know, like, I'm going to get what I want, you know? And so she opens up the door and she's like, you know, it's late. I'm so sorry. And he was just like, just barged in. Like, he just put his hand right there where the door's supposed to close. And he just like, boom, just like opens the door. Her husband's like, what's going on? And he looked at the guy and he just was like, sit down, you know? And the guy was just like, and what's crazy is like the guy looked bigger than Michael Shannon, but he was so intimidated by Michael Shannon that he was just like, he just sat back down. And so he gets into the woman's face and he starts telling her about the story of Samson and Delilah. And man, like, so early in the movie, when he confronts this creature, the creature had like ripped off or bit off his fingers. So they had to put his fingers, they had to sew it back on. So the movie's like set in the 1950s. So obviously like surgery wasn't as advanced back then as it is now. So his fingers are like turning blue and purple. Like it's not working. It's not working, you know? And so the reason I mention that is because in this scene, he's looking at the girl and he starts telling her about the story of Samson and Delilah. And like, he's so intense that in front of her, he grabs the fingers and he just like rips the fingers off of his hand. And you just see like the look on her face, like she's petrified. She's like, oh my God, like, because she refused to tell him. She's like, I'm not going to tell you. And he's like, you're going to tell me. And then like, he just was so intense, you know, like I'll never forget that scene in that movie, man. Like Michael Shannon, so good in that movie, man. You know, so good. You got to see it, man. You got just for him, you know, just for him, you got to see it.
I got to check it out.
Yeah.
Shapes of Water.
Yeah. Shape of Water.
Shape of Water. Yeah. It's a good. It's a good movie, man. It's just.
Oh,
if you're
directed.
into,
I mean, it's if you like acting, and you like performance, and then you like directing styles, I think you'll really enjoy the movie. I got lucky. I got to see this movie in the movie theater. I don't know if I would have had the same feeling of watching this movie if I was like sitting at home, you know, because I noticed that the difference for me when I watch a movie at the theater and when I watch at home. When I'm at home, I'm so relaxed, you know, and I'm like, you know, oh, I can pause the movie and I can go grab something, like go grab a snack. I can do this, I could do that, you know, or I can look at my smartphone. I can just like, you know, and what that does is it takes me away from focusing on the film, you know. So like, you know, that, you know, people tend to like, you miss like these little parts, or you know, you're not able to focus as much. So when you don't focus as much, I don't think you end up enjoying the film as much. So I think that's one of the great things about movie theaters is that if you're a real big fan of film, I always make sure, like, I don't know how people in the theater just sit there and they pull out their phones and it's like,
I can never do that.
Yeah.
I can never do that.
No, I'm the type of person, like, literally when the movie theater says turn off your phones, I'm like, oh, turn off my phone and just sit there and just like absorb the film, you know, and watch it.
I still don't like when people bring kids there and they start crying. I'm like, oh Lord,
that's the worst, man. That
Yeah.
and then the last
If
movie.
you go to a kids movie, you're gonna expect it. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
if you go to a kids movie, you're gonna expect it. But if you don't go to a kids movie, yeah.
But
well, I don't like when it happens when I'm watching Avengers Endgame and next you know I'm baby crying and stuff.
I mean, I used to love sitting directly in the middle. Like I have to be in the middle seat, middle row, just like that way. Like you know, the screen is just big enough for me, and then like the sound system hitting. But one thing that I can't stand is when people are behind me and they're talking, even if it's whispering, because it's distracting. So what I've learned to do is now I always go to the very back of the movie theater, and I get into the last, you know, so like the screen doesn't look as big, you know, but at least I don't have to worry about anyone behind me trying to like talk during the movie. I don't get distracted, you know. I mean, I will see people in front of me talk, and I'll see people on the side of me talk. And depending on how much they talk, depends on how annoyed I get. Like when I went to go see the Joker, I swear they almost talked through half the movie, you know? Oh. And I was just like, in my mind, I'm like, are you fucking serious? They had no respect. They didn't give a shit.
Yeah. All right, Sean. I know you're the big why am I thinking? Big Ghostbusters fan. So what you think? What you think of the Ghostbusters trailer?
I thought it was a pretty good trailer. You know, I liked it, the callbacks to the original. Of course, when they Google Ghostbusters and you see the original team walking up, you know, at the Dana Barrett's apartment. I liked the little Easter eggs, you know, the proton packs, the trap, the spores, molds, and fungus, the Shandor Industries and stuff. And, you know, I liked the tense atmosphere that it had. And I liked seeing Paul Rudd in there, you know, being the only guy who actually knew of the original Ghostbusters and stuff. The only thing that I wasn't too fond of was the Stranger Things vibe it was giving off. Like, it definitely felt like Stranger Things.
Oh, okay.
Especially with that boy from Stranger Things in it.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Do you like Stranger Things?
I like Stranger Things. But, you know, I'm not like...
I mean, I get that people want like the classic Ghostbusters feel, but at the same time, when people are saying, "Oh, it's too much like Stranger Things," but so many people love Stranger Things, you know, so it's like, you know.
Yeah, but the thing is, this is Ghostbusters, and I know they're saving it for another trailer, but there wasn't really nothing humorous about this trailer. It felt more serious. I agree. And the thing that I didn't like towards the end was like they revealed the Ecto-1 and stuff. I wasn't too fond of the kids driving it and then shooting the proton pack at a ghost, causing all that destruction. That made me feel like, wait a minute, is this going to be like the kids just learn proton packs and take over? And they the Ghostbusters? That was like, And I love the real Ghostbusters cartoon, but I hated the junior Ghostbusters whenever they appeared. Because as a kid, you don't want to see the junior versions of the Ghostbusters. You just want to see the Ghostbusters.
Junior Ghostbusters, like from the original anime series?
Yeah, the real Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
There were a couple of episodes that they had Junior Ghostbusters.
Really? I don't remember those.
It's a good thing you don't need to remember them. But other than that, I thought the trailer was dope. I liked it.
Jason Reitman's a fantastic director. his father, Ivan Reitman, as a kid working, like his dad being such a good director, and then him learning from his dad, and then him creating his own style. He's definitely a very good storyteller. I like the cast. I mean, I had doubts about the kids, but after watching the trailer, I'm like, the kids seem pretty solid, I think part of the reason maybe the trailer was very serious was because they're afraid that, when you have kids as like the main characters of the story, they're afraid that it's going to be too kiddie and too hokey, like too like, can you imagine like kids making the jokes and everybody would be complaining like, oh my God, this is movies for kids. He's like, we don't want a kids movie Ghostbusters. We want Ghostbusters, I do like that the kids are related to Egon. I think they're his grandkids.
Yeah, I think the girl is the one that's like more related to him.
Yeah. Well,
I still want to know. I still like the question is, how did Egon have children when we didn't really see him have a relationship in previous movies? That's what I want to see. And then whose farm is that? Because is that Egon's farm? Some people saying it could be Ray's farm. That Egon and Ray teamed up and put all the stuff in that farm.
Well, the Nerdist, they like to do like speculation. They like to dive into figuring out, the speculation of like what it could be. And so the theory is in the original Ghostbusters, when Egon is talking about Gozer, and then he talks about the guy who is like the architect. He created the building.
Sandor.
Yeah. And so he says that apparently the metal that they used for the building, it came from this mine. So when you see the trailer, you see the mine. Yeah. And so I think that's the same mine and so Egon was set up there to kind of keep an eye on the mine. So that way, I guess, to prevent from Gozer ever appearing again. So the rumor is that Gozer is going to be the villain for this movie. And if you see the trailer real briefly, you see like Paul Rudd in the car, and you see something in the car that looked like a dog.
Dog.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about Gozer being the villain again.
Okay.
Mainly because, it's almost like you're retreading, like saying, let's bring Gozer back into the fore.
It's like the Ghostbusters Force Awakens.
Yeah. And it's like it's funny that they don't want to include the video game as canon, because the video game was done by the original cast, and they did take on Sandor in that game. So they defeated Gozer and they defeated Sandor. So bringing those, or at least bringing Gozer back, just feels like a retread.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's like they're looking for a way to take this new film and connect it to the original film. I think they want to avoid what they did with Ghostbusters 2. Because, I enjoyed Ghostbusters 2. But I remember when that movie first came out, a lot of the Ghostbuster fans were like, nope, part 2 sucked. Wasn't as good as the first one. And then, of course, we get the alternate universe female Ghostbusters. We get that movie. And, of course, people are coming out and be like, oh, Ghostbusters 2 is better than that movie, So it's like, it's I think they want to please fans, and I think they're looking for a way to take this other film and connect it. They want to be able to connect it. They can't just do completely fresh. I think they want to do fresh, but they feel like they need to connect it for the old fans, so that the old fans can like watch it and be like, sweet. Granted, there will be old fans that will probably complain and say, why are they doing Gozer again? So I feel like there's going to be mixed feelings on that film for old fans. But I think for a lot of new fans, I think they're going to really like it. And then the smart thing by making the kids the kind of like the lead, like the main characters, is that you have the kids today that will end up watching that film and they'll be like, oh, I like Ghostbusters. I want to be a Ghostbuster, And I think that's the importance about films that are being made today. They're supposed to be made for all audiences. So it's not just for the fans from before, but it's important. It's about creating new fans now. And, that's the whole point of like franchises. So like the Marvel films, like you probably like Marvel films. Imagine the Marvel films have been around 10 years now, at least. Right. And imagine a 10-year-old kid watching the first Iron Man movie. And then by the time Avengers Endgame comes out, a kid's now 20 years old. You know,
Yep.
that's how long like that franchise has been around. So like, you know, the people are going to be growing up, they're going to be exposed to these films, and they're going to like, you know, and then 10, 20 years later, they're going to be talking about how much they miss those films and how much they love those films, and you know, they're going to
I
be.
will say this. I will say this, that at least he had 10 straight years of Marvel movies to grow up to.
Yeah.
Whereas we have to wait forever for a new Ghostbusters movie.
Right.
And to your point about, you know, wanting to ignore Ghostbusters 2,
Yeah.
I enjoyed Ghostbusters 2 because that was like the first movie I watched multiple times before I watched 1.
Yeah.
But I feel like the biggest missed opportunity was not at least trying to say, like, where's Oscar? You know, Oscar could have been one of the Ghostbusters. Because right now, if you look at it, he would be in his early 30s. So that would be a prime age for him to be, you know, involved with the Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I mean,
it would have been a great way.
That could be at the end of the film. You never know. Because I heard Sigourney Weaver is be appearing in the film. So if she's appearing in the film, that means Oscar.
But honestly, do we know who Rudd is, anyways? Who Rudd's playing? What characters he's playing?
Who?
He looked like he's playing a teacher or a scientist or something like that. From what
I know that. No, but I'm saying it could be.
I don't know his character.
Yeah, I don't know.
Could be the baby. Could be the baby from 2. Could be, right? Maybe.
No. He wouldn't be up there. I mean, he's already 50.
Oh,
okay.
Well, he's 50 in real life. Or is he 40?
No, he's 50.
Okay, he's 50 in real life, but we all know he looks like he's like late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah, but if you go time wise from the 30 years from Ghostbusters 2, Oscar will be in like 30, 31, 32. So
okay.
Well, didn't Ghostbusters 2 that took place
in 89?
Yeah, and then the first one took place when?
84.
Okay, so yeah, 5 years.
Yeah, they had that gap. You know, they
I mean,
out of business
Oscar would be because he was like what, 2 years old, 3 years old,
something around that.
No, not even. He was a toddler, I think.
He was a toddler. So I would say about maybe one, maybe close to 2.
So
I would say he was born 88 and then bled over until 89.
So, yeah, so technically he should be like 26, I think.
No, it's been 30 years since Ghostbusters 2, though. This year.
30 years since Ghostbusters 2 or 30 years since Ghostbusters?
30 years Ghostbusters 2.
Oh, okay.
89 to 2019 represents 30 years.
Oh, yeah, that's 30 years. Yeah. Okay, so then he'd be like 31.
Yeah. So that's prime age when you look at it right there.
Yeah.
But overall, I enjoyed the trailer. It's far better than the first trailer of the 2016 Ghostbusters. Because I always thought that movie was just over the top comedy.
Oh yeah,
it was just over the top comedy. It
was like it was trying to be like an SNL Ghostbusters film.
But the thing is, the original Ghostbusters had SNL experience, but it was adult comedy. I mean, you a kid watching that, and the adult humor goes over your head. You don't really catch it until you get older.
It was story driven. And it was the comedians that just one, they already had chemistry together. With Bill Murray. I mean, Bill Murray was already friends with Harold Ramis because of Stripes, and then obviously Bill worked with Dan Aykroyd on SNL. So like the three of them, they definitely had the chemistry, and then you had Ernie Hudson,
who I felt they undercut it in both movies.
Oh, absolutely,
especially the second one.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, he's truly the heart and soul because he's the one that's been supporting the franchises.
He's
after it died.
He's the everyman. He was like, "Hey, I need a job." He's like, "Okay, we're gonna bust some ghosts. All right." He was like he was like just like any other person who is not a scientist, who doesn't know what's going on, not a psychologist, not a very smart person. Just an average person.
But he's smart when it comes to knowing how to handle situations that's not scientific.
Oh yeah. I mean,
and that was the thing I liked about the cartoon, and even in the comic series, is that they made sure that he's not scientific tech. but he knows how to handle situations in his own way.
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah.
and plus he's a former Marine, which they kind of ignored in the movies, but that was his original background from the original scripts. So Winston Zeddemore is a lot of people's favorite because of how he is as a character and because how Ernie actually shows up to conventions to greet fans. And that's how fans actually get to love him even more, because he's the only one that really greets fans at different conventions.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
actually, yeah,
other than that, I'm done talking.
Yeah, pretty much. I haven't seen other Ghostbusters in cons at all either. So the only one I've seen is Ernie Hudson. And that's the only main one.
Well, I mean,
everybody else doesn't show up.
Ernie hasn't, had the acting career that everyone else has had.
Right.
I mean, Dan Aykroyd, even before Ghostbusters, was kind of a major star anyways, because being from, being in SNL and then just like blockbuster comedy films, like him working with Chevy Chase, him working with Eddie Murphy, like he was working with everybody, he was just like in movie after movie after movie. And, Dan hustled.
He hustled his way to some bad ones for sure, though.
Oh, eventually, yeah. Eventually. I mean, he became out of touch, man. He became out of touch. Somewhere along the mid-'90s, late 90s, like that was it. Dan Aykroyd should have shifted to like television. Like he should have been a sitcom father or something like that, like he should have.
I always thought that he can play them serious acting roles.
But I mean, how Hollywood
he has some really
people.
But he could do them serious acting roles.
No, I know. I agree. I mean, he's definitely a talented actor, but like what was it? My Girl. He played the dad in My Girl. It was a fairly serious role.
I forgot all about that one.
Yeah.
He was in Driving Miss Daisy. He was in Snickers with Robert Redford.
Yeah. Those are two movies I haven't seen.
Yeah, I remember those movies.
Yeah. Dr. Detroit. Yep. Yep. I remember Dr. Detroit.
And then Dragnet. I remember that with Tom Hanks.
Yeah, I love Dragnet, man. That was such an underrated movie.
Yeah. I watch it all the time.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, and my favorite was like The Great Outdoors with John Candy.
I haven't seen that one, man.
Gotta check that one out, man.
Oh,
it got panned critically, but I always loved it, man.
Yeah. I mean, some of my favorite Dan Aykroyd movies. Oh, you know what? I love the Coneheads movie.
Oh yeah, that's from Saturday Night Live, man.
Yeah, so many people from Saturday Night Live were in that movie, man.
Yeah, that was the thing I loved about all those old Saturday Night Live movies. They always made sure they had guest appearances from the show on it. Chris Farley and all of them.
Yeah, SNL is essentially just a comedy fraternity.
Yeah.
Like you get on SNL. And you do a good job, and you hustle, you work hard, and you get along with the people that work there. You're eventually going to appear in small films, and then like you get more appearances until you get like a supporting role, and then you get these supporting roles, which end up leading you to getting lead roles, or at least you end up on television shows.
Yeah.
So like I'm a fan of what's his name, Will Forte, MacGruber. I love MacGruber.
I thought, like, damn, you playing MacGyver, man. What's up with that, man?
Oh, dude.
It was a parody, man.
It was genius, It was the whole, 10 seconds, MacGruber. And he's like, don't worry, guys.
Although that whole graveyard scene kind of like, all right, that.
Oh, yeah.
That was like, what the hell is that?
And every time I hear that song, man, the Take These Broken Wings, I always think of that movie now.
Oh, man.
Because it gets all sensual and like slow motion, like really and then all of a sudden the music cuts off and it's like raw, and it's like, yep, this is what it really looks like,
Oh man,
it's so funny, man. They're supposed to be doing a sequel, but now instead of the sequel, they're going to make it a TV series, like either a mini series or hopefully it's an ongoing series.
Yeah. Yeah, The Great Outdoors is very funny, man. Especially when John Candy did that bear at the end. Oh, man, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
You got to check that movie out, man. The Great Outdoors.
Oh, I know. It's I mean, I love John Candy. Like as a kid,
Yeah,
as
I
an
miss
overweight
I
kid.
miss him. I miss him dearly, man. I watched all his movies growing up. You know,
Who's
like
Harry Crumb?
Who's Harry Crumb, Splash, what's his name?
Did you ever see the movie Delirious?
Yeah, I love Delirious.
Oh, it's a great film.
Cool Runnings, you know, with the Jamaican bobsled team.
Oh yeah.
I even watched this cartoon, the cartoon Camp Candy.
Yeah, Camp Candy, man. Yeah, that's a great cartoon.
Yeah, man.
Kids, man.
That was the good old days when they could take anything from the movies and turn it to a cartoon.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was just straight up merchandising, man. It was just like straight up like what taking a property and turning it into something like, let's get toys made. I mean, the sad thing is toys don't sell like they used to. So that's why we don't see, television and films working the way they used to, And now it's kind of shifted, now you got video games, kids aren't even, it's a lot of the stuff now is all digital,
Yeah. Kids they being born with a tablet in their hand.
Yeah. If I have kids, man, I'm like, I'm going to wait until you're like 8 or 9 before I give you a tablet.
Yeah, then I'm going to make sure you're not too addicted to it.
Years old.
Right. Yeah. You got to like limit them on the tablet, like 1 day a week or something like that.
Yeah. But that was great conversation there. From Ghostbusters to the comedy aspects. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm. So, Randall, what you looking forward to?
Ghostbusters. Gosh, man. I even like the cartoon series, The Extreme Ghostbusters.
Yeah. I'll tell you a funny story about that. This was when I was in New York City. I grew up in New York. Before Extreme Ghostbusters debuted, they was playing the real Ghostbusters on Sundays.
Yeah.
I think it was just for that 1 month in August. So when I look at the TV guide, I just see Ghostbusters on weekdays. I didn't know it was a new Ghostbusters cartoon. I just thought they moved real Ghostbusters over the weekdays. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'll get to keep watching real Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I see that opening portion. I'm like, what is this? And then that music cue and the hard rock Ghostbusters song come. I'm like, is this really Ghostbusters? I see Egon, but I was like, is this really Ghostbusters? And then as I watched it, I was like, oh, this is a continuation.
Yeah.
Of the real Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Even though it was like the extreme things of the 90s, you had Extreme G.I. Joe, Extreme Dinosaurs and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But I actually liked it that it was a continuation and they had Egon and Janine and Slime in there to continue on the legacy of the Ghostbusters.
Yeah. That makes
was pretty good.
Because Egon always was doing research, so it made sense that Egon would do it. Even in like Ghostbusters 2, like when they kind of all split up, like what was it? Peter Venkman had his talk show.
Yep.
And then Ray had the bookstore. Egon was still doing research. And what was Ernie Hudson doing? Was it construction?
Well, I know at the beginning, him and Ray was doing the birthday party thing.
Yeah. Who you gonna call?
Yeah.
He-Man.
Yeah. But yeah, Extreme Ghostbusters was dope. I liked it. Even though I kind of looked at like Garrett, like him being in the wheelchair was a bit weird, like how you gonna get out of certain situations, but cartoons kind of do that, like stress your mind.
I think it was smart, man, because you have people who are, that have disabilities, and it's great to create a character that people with disabilities can relate to. So I think that cartoon was ahead of its time, honestly.
Yeah, because it was the most diverse cast.
Yeah. One female. Then you had Eduardo, who represented the Spanish community, and then you had the guy who represented the disability, and
Roland.
Yeah,
who Roland was played by Alberto Rafizzo from Fresh Prince.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. Carlton Banks.
Yeah.
And what's her name? She was played by Tara Strong.
Oh yeah, Tara Strong. Yeah, she does like Harley Quinn, and she's done
Yeah.
some. She did Batgirl in the animated series.
Yeah.
Oh hey, William. I noticed William said started watching late, but it hasn't been said. Happy birthday, Randall. Thanks, William. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Randall. I forgot.
Happy birthday, man.
I forgot.
Thank you.
What you got planned?
Well, let's see. It's 10:45, so I got about an hour and 15 minutes before my birthday is over. So I don't think I have anything planned.
Okay.
If you did have anything planned, it was before this show started.
Let me see here. My mom wanted me to help her out with some stuff. Had to go meet up with one of my customers. Drop off his books. I had a good lunch. I had Chinese food. Beautiful. Very tasty. I made sure I didn't overeat because I hate it when I overeat sometimes. I get like really sleepy. And like I try to go to sleep or take a nap. Or if I'm not able to sleep, then like, I just feel like really tired and then I get cranky because I'm like, man, I want to sleep. But I had a good lunch. I think that was probably the highlight of my day was that lunch. Yeah, I watched most of episode 4 of The Mandalorian. And
what do you think of that show so far?
Huh?
So far, what do you think of that show so far?
So far?
Yeah.
I think it's good. I don't think like a lot of people are like, oh, it's the best show on television. I disagree. The Watchmen's the best TV show on television right now. There you go, Jeff. That's the one thing I'm looking forward to after this is done. I am watching the finale tonight. I'm going to be watching the. There's talks that they're thinking about doing a second season, which I don't know how they would do it or what direction they would go. Anything's possible because they have fantastic writers like Damon Lindelof, who you can tell he's like a fan of Watchmen, and I love what he's added to Watchmen. Regina King, like she's fantastic. The guy, I can never say his name properly, but he played Black Manta. He plays like the husband or boyfriend, husband to Regina King's character. He's awesome. He's fantastic. This show most definitely shows you the range of his acting, and I'll straight up tell you right now, man, that actor, he better get some more like dramatic roles. He better I see this guy in the future winning an Oscar. That's how good of a job I think he did with Watchmen.
Awesome. I still need to check that show out when it.
Dude, do it before it gets spoiled for you, man. Especially
it haven't been spoiled to me. The only thing I know about it is that they touched on Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
Which one?
On Black Wall Street, the town that was had black people that they actually they were attacked and by the Klan and all that.
Oh man, I can't tell you how many times they make Superman references, without actually, saying it's a Superman reference. It's like when you see the parents and like they're under attack and they're just trying to get out so they can survive, and they have their son with them, and they find a friend who has like this car, and he's like, "Can you take us?" And he's like, "I ain't got room, I can maybe take one of you." So he's like, "Here, at least take my son." And he puts his son in the carriage or whatever, or the car, and he's telling his son like, "Hey, keep your head down and be careful." And but like it was like almost reminiscent of like when Jor-El and Lara are giving up their baby so that the baby could survive. It was very like similar to that. And I love that they did that. I thought that was pretty cool. And then they kind of did another thing similar to that later in the show. What I just described to you, that's literally like in the first episode.
Yeah, I gotta check it out.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good, man. It's so good. And what's cool is the show is literally a sequel to the comic book, not the movie. So like, and then Jeremy Irons, like just the acting, everyone brought their A game with the acting in this show. Like, I don't think I can complain about one actor that gave a bad performance. And I think part of it is also because I think the episodes were well directed, and more importantly, well written. Characters were definitely well written. Dude, I have no clue how this show's going to end. I'm so excited to see how it ends. Mandalorian, the action's great. The action's great. Visually, it's great. I love John Favreau.
They relying heavily on Baby Yoda though.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like
I
people
mean,
can't get enough of him.
And I mean, Baby Yoda is great, and I think the smart thing they did with Baby Yoda was like it wasn't all, you know, I'm sure there was some CGI, but most of it's all just puppet. You know, they're using like animatronics, you know, and it's the Baby Yoda is adorable, most definitely, and it almost reminds me of like, because I'm pretty sure that they talked with George Lucas about it, and George Lucas probably gave some advice. And from a merchandising standpoint, you know they're gonna make a ton of money. Like, you know, it's gonna be like Baby Groot. You know, you have Baby Yoda that's gonna make a lot of money. But even before all of that, like, let's not forget that George Lucas had Ewoks. You know,
I hated them. I hated the Ewoks, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can hate the Ewoks, but let's face it, man. A lot of people were like, "Oh, those little bears are so adorable."
I was like they ugly versions of the Care Bears, man. No.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. But look, you gotta admit, you teared up a little bit, right? When one of the Ewoks was dead, and you see like the other Ewok, like, you know, and like you knew, like, nope, that Ewok's dead.
That was the only one that died, man. I was like, a couple more need to go.
Yeah.
I was a savage, man. I was a savage.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the porks are the same thing, man. The pork things, the things that look like turkeys or whatever those things were. The pork.
Well, thanks for the birthday shout out, Steve.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Mandalorian. It's just that it feels like these last couple episodes have just been filler episodes. It's not, the story's not really advancing in terms of what really is the point of him keeping Baby Yoda.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is, like, you know, what the mystery behind Baby Yoda, like,
yeah,
I don't think I'm pretty sure they haven't revealed why they're after Baby Yoda, you know. So like when you go like almost the entire season without even mentioning why are they going after this baby, you just know that they're going after it, you know. I mean, like, there's a lot of speculation. Like, I mean, I think the one good thing about it is that some people can like just interpret. They can like put in their opinion as to why they think the Empire is going after Baby Yoda, you know. But we'll see. I mean, I at this point, I'm not really watching The Mandalorian for the story. I'm watching it for the visuals, the acting, the action. You know, that's primarily what I'm watching it for.
That's fine. Stuffed teddy bears like the annoying Jar Jar.
Oh no, nothing is more annoying than Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, he ruined that first movie for me.
Well, technically, Jar Jar didn't ruin the movie. It was George Lucas. George Lucas deciding to have a character like Jar Jar in the movie. It was Jar.
Yeah. I feel like you take Jar Jar out, it's a pretty decent film.
Oh yeah. I remember when that movie first came out. There was a rumor that somebody took Star Wars Episode 1, re-edited it, and took out the majority of the Jar Jar scenes. And apparently, someone saw the re-edited version and was like, "Oh my god, this is a much better film," you know. And then apparently, like, George Lucas found out. This is all rumors, so I mean, I have nothing to prove it, but I just remember hearing about this, and I remember like the rumor was that George Lucas found out about someone re-editing the film, and then people actually saying that the film was better. Like, imagine like the ego of George Lucas, you know, like George Lucas was like, "Nah, this ain't happening," you know, like he shut it down. You know, if it happened, he shut it down fast, you know.
So just you know, I agree with you. Let me change my movie up. Like, he changed the originals, you know, with all those edits. But it is what it is. Yeah.
It's George. I love the rant that what's his name? Freddie Prinze Jr. did. I love how he pretty much just broke it down and explained it and was like, this is what Star Wars is. you know, and if you don't like it because of this, then go away, and I get it, I understand,
So are you going to see Rise of the Skywalker?
Oh, I've got to. I have to, whether I want to see it or not. I have to. You got to know how the movie ends. It's like imagine like I'm reading like 3 books, or there's 3 books and reading 2 of the books, and you find out like this last book, this is the end of the story. So it's like I got to know how it ends.
Oh, they gotta redeem themselves from the last one. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, well I mean, come on, like George Lucas could come back and make a better Star Wars than what Rian Johnson did.
That movie left a sour taste in my mouth, and I don't think it's completely terrible, but at the same time, there were things that I just disliked about it that I was like,
it's also another movie that if you re-edit it, it would be a better film.
I will wipe out the whole casino scene.
Oh yeah, that's a waste.
It's a complete waste. The hell you go there and it didn't even factor into the end of the story. So I was like,
I hate to say it because I mean I do like John Boyega and I like his character, I like Finn, but the whole him and Rose going off, and then what sucked too was when they even Benicio del Toro's character was a waste also.
Yeah.
It was like, what was the point?
And then when John Boyega's character was about ready to have a sacrifice, then this chick come and saved him. I'm like, yo, this dude was about to go out in the most epic way possible to save the team, and she gonna come and ruin it, man.
Well, no, I mean that's the thing was you think he was gonna save it, but she was actually in the right. She was just like, no, you were just gonna kill yourself, And he's like, his character is more valuable alive than dead. Like he wanted to make this great sacrifice, but I don't think he would have succeeded. I think he would have just been like all the other side characters.
Even if she was right, she didn't look to be like I didn't really care about you before. So now you saving him. I'm like, why should I care about you saving? Like you took a moment from him away, even if he was wrong, for just because you loved him. I was like, no, man. And nobody really wanted to see that romance after we done saw a little tease with him and Ray in the first movie. So I was like,
you see, and I think I will say that's one of the things that I think the director did do a good job is like he made you think there was going to be a romance between these two, and it was like, nope, which is like, I mean, I just think that's smart storytelling. That's one thing where, because I mean, when storytellers make things so obvious, so when you see the next film, you think, okay, this is what's going to happen, and it doesn't happen. It goes that, and in real life, that's how relationships work, Like 1 minute you think 2 people are going to be together and they're going to get married, and all of a sudden relationship doesn't work out, and everyone's like, "What?" And then they just go their own way, and
it's basically taking the Han Solo and Princess Leia relationship and flipping it instead.
I don't know, because like if you go back and watch episode 4, you can tell there was chemistry between Han Solo and Princess Leia.
There was no chemistry with Boyega and Rey.
There was no, or there was?
I'm saying there was none in the in the Force Awakens.
Yeah, I mean,
because I didn't really think they had enough screen time together.
Right. I mean, I think you know what it is that I think John Boyega's character would have fell for somebody like Rey, but Rey just wasn't interested. But because they went through all that stuff together, they built a bond and they became friends.
Okay. Either way, The Last Jedi was just an average movie to me.
Yeah. I mean, one of the problems with that film was there was a lot of hype. We wanted to see Luke Skywalker as a badass, and we didn't get it.
Yeah, and they didn't give it to us. They gave
the most badass moment in the movie is when they were blasting him, and he just come out, brush this thing out like, oh shit, it's about to be on.
Not even just that, but I mean, like, I rewatched that scene because I was thinking to myself, like, that was like one of the. I remember when I saw it in the movie theater, I was like, oh, that's a cool scene. But then I rewatched it and I realized, oh wait, it really was more of a disappointing scene because you didn't get a lightsaber battle.
Yeah, that's the thing. When what's his name, Kylo Ren came down You thinking we gonna get this lightsaber battle?
Yeah.
And it was worth. Like, I would rather watch the lightsaber battle between Vader and Ben Kenobi because at least we got something out of it before he disappeared.
Yeah.
Luke just straight up disappeared.
If they can give Yoda and Emperor Palpatine a lightsaber battle, first off, those two guys are so powerful they shouldn't even have a lightsaber battle, but they did it anyways, you know. And but yeah, I mean, Luke, I mean, like, he's supposed to be the badass Jedi. And we saw how he was fighting throughout the original trilogy, you know? And so
we saw his growth in the original trilogy.
Exactly. This was the opportunity to show him spinning the lightsaber like a badass, you know? And nothing. It was just more like, whoop, whoop, dodging. Oh, guess what? I'm not here. I'm a ghost.
Yeah.
I'm a projection. I'm not here. Psych. That was the biggest Jedi psych of all time.
Yeah.
Like they played the Jedi mind trick on us, that's for sure.
Oh, everybody.
For sure.
Everybody. I mean, and again, there was
Everybody.
just so much hype for that film. You know, I think when Force Awakens first came out, the majority of people really liked it. But then when people had time to process that film, they tore that movie apart. And I go back and watch it now, and I'm just like, I like it. There's some really cool scenes. If I had to pick that movie apart, the movie started to go downhill slightly when Kylo Ren took the helmet off. You know, when he was such a badass when he had the helmet on, and then the minute he took off the helmet and you saw his face, and then you see him in his temper tantrums and yelling and all that other stuff, that's when his character just became a joke. You know,
Yeah.
He was a badass when he had that helmet on. You know, and that's what they should have done was he should have kept that helmet on.
I remember saying that when I was watching the movie. I was like, Vader wouldn't act like this.
No,
You know, Vader was just calm, cool, and said,
I mean,
I'll force choke you to death if you mess with me.
He did act more like Anakin.
Yeah.
You know, when Anakin was whining, like, no, you will not take that from me. My new empire. You know, and it's like, you know, that's kind of like how he was. You know, like he was a true Skywalker. He was a whiner. You know? But yeah, no, I got to see it. I love J.J. Abrams. I have people who are like big Star Wars fans that are like, "Oh, J.J. Abrams ruined it." I'm like, I disagree. I think he's a master storyteller. I think he's a great director.
It's funny that you got some Trek fans that think he ruined the Trek movies.
Which one?
Yeah.
The Star Trek movies.
Okay.
Oh, the Trek movies, man. I mean, how cool is it? I was like one of the people rooting for J.J. Abrams to direct Star Wars because I was like, this man will bridge the gap. He will merge the fandom. You know, he will pull Star Trek fans and Star Wars fans together. You know, because the man, he's the only person to have ever directed both franchises.
Yeah.
You know, and to me, that's huge. That's huge. The next film he has to do, or the next franchise, he has to direct Superman. He has to direct the Superman movie.
He's writing Spider-Man already, so he's writing Spider-Man comics. So
Well, technically, his son is writing it. Like he's helping with the story,
Oh.
but his son is doing the majority of the writing, which I think is smart because I'm sure like he's going to teach his son how to be like a writer, and then eventually his son will segue. He'll do the thing.
Have
like
you
his
read
dad.
it?
He'll segue his way from being a writer.
Randa, have you read it?
I've browsed through
Have
it.
you read you only browsed through it? Okay.
I browsed
I ain't
through it.
read it.
I like what I see. Like
Yeah.
the art's pretty solid. The way the story is flowing, I like it. I wish they did have a different artist. Like it would have been
okay.
cool if Mark Bagley had drawn it, or I do like Adam Kubert, but Adam Kubert probably better with X-Men, I think. I love that he's drawing the new Wolverine comic.
Oh boy.
So, and
Another
I'm
one.
telling you right now, this is a writer to look out for, Benjamin Percy. Benjamin Percy's writing X-Force
Okay.
right now. And then he's going to be writing
Mm.
Wolverine. And then he's got a couple other books that he's writing through a new publisher that's coming out next year, 2020. AWA. It's Artists, Writers, Artisans, the publishing company. And then I think the sub-publishing company is Upshot, I think.
Okay.
I just got more information about that company recently. And one of my favorite writers, J. Michael Straczynski, he worked on the Spider-Man books for like 5 to 10 years. Hands down, in my opinion, the best Spider-Man run. He retired from comics, but then when this new company emerged, which is done by Bill Jamis and Axel Alonso, both who worked for Marvel, they started their own publishing company. Axel Alonso actually got fired. He was editor-in-chief at Marvel a few years back, maybe 4 years back, and then and he got let go, and then they got a new editor-in-chief, which I've met the new editor-in-chief, and he's super nice guy. He's got a lot of work on his hands to kind of like rebuild Marvel Comics. But anyways, Axel Alonso, he got fired, and he's doing this new publisher now. Bill Jamis was, kind of like the co-creator, co-inspiration of creating the Ultimate comics. So like when Ultimate Spider-Man came out, he was one of the guys that got that book rolling, and he had Bendis write that series. And from the birth of Ultimate Spider-Man, then we got Ultimate X-Men, which was written by one of my favorite writers, Mark Millar. And both of those guys, they did so well with the Ultimate Universe that they just ran Marvel Comics, man. They were the kings over at Marvel for almost a decade, I think. And then Mark got smart. I feel like Mark Millar he's the Stan Lee of our generation. He was actually inspired directly from Stan Lee. He mentioned in an interview that when he hung out with Stan and he would talk with Stan, and he'd say, hey, so, hey, how does it feel? Like after all these years, like Spider-Man comics, they're still being made. People are still writing it. Like, how does that feel? And Stan's like, oh, I think it's nice. He's like, he's like, but I think it's, a waste almost. I'm paraphrasing because I don't think he actually said that. But he said something similar to that because essentially Stan's idea was to inspire other people, like create your own heroes. Create your own heroes, do your own stories. Don't just be a comic book writer and write my characters, like create your own. And so that's why Mark Millar left. He started his own publishing company. It was Millar World Comics. And he started creating all these new characters. And the big character he created was Kick-Ass. And then the cool thing was like he was such a popular writer through Marvel, and then people were picking up his independent created characters and stories, and then those stories were being turned into movies, and then a lot of people still don't know that Mark Millar, his Millar World Comics, actually got bought out. He sold the company, and Netflix owns the company.
Yeah, that's why you see it all on the back of his new comics. Every book he does, it's got Netflix on the back because it's going to be a Netflix property.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like Netflix is smart. Yeah. They know that the comic book properties are huge right now, and so they have their own comic book publisher. They have I mean, the smart thing is that publisher they don't actually publish their own books. What they do is they work through Image, and Image creates the books.
Yeah.
But Netflix owns the rights. They own the rights to every one of the characters that Mark Millar does. He is in charge. He runs all the things. He has his own editors, and they look for talent. They look for artists, and he's just pumping out story after story after story. In fact, he's got one issue coming out, a new series starting this upcoming Tuesday. They refer to it as Project Christmas. And the reason they call it that is because it's a surprise. Nobody knows what this book is about. He references that this book is a continuation of a previous character or previous story that he did before.
I'm hoping it's Huck. I'm hoping it's Huck. I like the Huck character.
Oh, yeah, Huck
all of them.
I didn't get to finish Huck, but I did like the art and I like the storytelling in it.
Yeah.
We talked about this last week, I think, right? With Tim. I think we were like what it could be. Yeah. And it makes sense that it could be American Jesus, because Jesus' birthday is on the 25th of December, so Project Christmas,
yeah.
We'll see. I'm excited. Like, this Tuesday when I go pick up the books, when I open up the box, it's the first book I'm looking for. I want to know what it is.
Won't be funny if it's in a black bag and you can't see it until you go back to the house to open the black bag.
Well, no, I mean I bring the whole shipment to my house anyway. So like when I'm unpacking all the books, I have like a long table set up, and I'm like spreading out all the books and putting them in alphabetical order and going through the invoice. And so yeah, once I find that book, I'll be like,
what? One thing about Diamond, they're gonna have new boxes this week. I heard new boxes, or they're gonna be shipping them in new boxes.
One of their new boxes already, and I'm not impressed with the design.
Yeah, they said it's higher quality or something like that.
I mean, they said that they did pressure tests, you know, to see like how much pressure like can the box handle before books start getting bent or destroyed.
What kind of pressure test? Taking it into a car and driving through a road, bumpy road.
They're finding like an elderly man carrying the box and he's dropping it like, you know, dropping it down the stairs like, oh no. But
they got a box that holds 200 and a box that holds 400. That's what I remember them saying.
I haven't even looked into it. Either way, I'm going to get raped by them for shipping costs. You know,
Diamond needs to get that act together. I mean, even with these boxes, if you're not impressed, that makes me feel leery. Because I don't know, last month was really bad for my shop because they got a lot of damaged books from Diamond, and I ain't get a lot of books. That's why my pull is so big, because some of them was from last month.
Yeah. The sad thing is that Diamond, the way they do it, and I can't put the blame on them all the time. You know, I mean, I've seen UPS workers. So the box, you know, it will say, you know, you can see behind me, it says fragile, you know, and you see an arrow pointing up right here where my fingers are.
Yeah.
And so I literally have seen UPS people like take the box and they have it tilted to the side, and then you see them writing on, you know, like on the my money order. And part of me is almost like wanting to tell the UPS person, like, you not see the books or the box that says fragile and you an arrow up, you literally, you know, and then sometimes the box is upside down and it's sideways, or when they were first delivering to me, they would deliver the box to my house before I would go pick it up. They did that like maybe the first month when I had it, until I started requesting that I can go pick it up, because I had to wait for them to process the request. So I would get home and the box would be there, and the box would be like sideways. And like I'm thinking to myself, like, how long has this box been sitting outside here in front of the house, sitting sideways like that? You know, like So sometimes you'll see like
I got a question, Randall. I got a question for you. What have you found in the box? I know a lot of store owners find all kinds of crap in the box. Like Chad's found like half a pack of cigarettes in the box. Have you found anything like that in the box yet?
The craziest thing I ever found, and I don't even really consider it crazy, was a highlighter. You know, there was a highlighter just in the box. So like I think they were using highlighters to like highlight like lists, like, you know, okay, this is what we need to pull for this box and pack, you know, and they probably just forgot, like, you know, it got misplaced and it was inside the small box, and then the small box is covered by the big box. So, you know, and they'll cover the books, and they cover the stuff with like cardboard, like real thin cardboard, like rectangle or square cardboard, you know, they covered the stuff.
Like that's gonna do anything.
It really does actually help a little bit, because the way I unpack my books, what I do is I cut the top, I open up the flaps, but I keep the small flaps in, and I take the big flaps and I fold it back. And what I do is I take the whole box and I turn it upside down, and then I take the box and I lift up the box. And as I lift up the box, the books are sitting right there, you know.
Okay.
And you have like the cardboard kind of hold, you know, like holding the books, because the books are designed like you have a cardboard in the middle, so you have 2 rows of stacks, you know, and it's just quicker for me, you know. Because what sucks is sometimes when you're getting in there and you're digging your hands in the books, sometimes, you know, you're either creasing the book or you're damaging the book as you're trying to pull the books out. and like you're trying to be delicate. So when you're trying to be delicate, you're also consuming more time. You know, it's taking
Right.
you more time. I take the box, I flip it, I pull it open, boom, all the books are right there.
Right.
You know, so I learned that way back when I worked at Demolition.
Okay.
It's just so much easier and it's faster and doesn't really affect the books. It doesn't damage it. They just slide right out.
Okay.
Cool.
So you
Well-
pretty much haven't found nothing really weird at all yet. So, all right.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while.
mean-
It's been a while. I mean, just recently, what was it? I don't know if it was UPS's fault. I don't know if it was Diamond's fault, but I received another store's box. So the comic
Oh, okay.
club had put in a special order for this one box, and so when I opened up the box and I was looking through
Right.
the books, I'm like, "Yeah, I know I didn't order any of these books." So I took a second look at the box,
Right.
and I saw that there's two different stickers. There's one sticker with my business name on it, and then there's a sticker with
Uh-huh.
Comics Club on it. So that's when I realized. So I emailed my
Okay.
Diamond rep and I explained to him what happened. He's like, okay. He didn't think it was a lot of books at first. He was just like, it sounds like, you know, like we'll put it in his overages, and like you won't be charged, and you get to keep the books. So part of me was like, cool. But then when I counted how many books there were, I was like, no, this is
Yeah.
easily like over $100 worth of books. You know. So when I emailed him the list, he was just like, oh, yeah, we're gonna send you a label, and you go ahead and send those books back to us. So I was like, all right.
I would have just drove it down to the Comics Club if that was the case. If you knew it was Comics Club's books.
No, because I think was it my Diamond rep. The problem was he didn't respond to me on the same day. He responded to me
Oh,
the
okay.
next day.
Oh,
So when he
Okay.
responded to me the next day, he was basically like, well, you know, the owner of Comics Club probably already called in those books as shorted, which means that
Right.
they were probably already being processed to send him a new batch of books.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was just one of those, like, you know, had he had responded, had he had saw my email and responded to me that same day, then he
Uh-huh.
could have been like, hey, because there was another store that they sent me a whole box full of like
Right.
pop figures, and this is another store, and this store was like in Daytona, I think, or I forget which city, and you know, same thing. I had to tell him like, hey man, this isn't my stuff. What do you want me to do? And he's like, we're gonna get you a new label, and then when you slap the label on there, you take it to UPS, and then UPS is gonna just ship it from where you're at to where their store is at. It would be easier for them to do that, because for me to send that box all the way back to, I guess, Maryland or Tennessee,
Right.
and then they're going to send it right back to Florida, they're like, nah, we're not going to do that. It's more cost effective for me to just send it back to UPS and have UPS send it to where it's supposed to go. And so, yeah, I ended up having to do that. The cool thing was that I didn't have to wait the following week to send the box. They were like, no, we're going to send somebody from UPS to come there and pick up the box. So I'm like, okay, cool.
Okay.
I remember In Stock Trades, which is like a division of DCBS, which is a division under Diamond. I got a package. I got 2 packages in one day, and I was like, man, I only have one order, but they both were in my name.
Yeah.
Right.
So I opened up one box. It was my stuff. I opened up the second, and it was the Absolute Watchman.
Oh.
And I was like, I know I didn't order this.
Right.
And then when I looked at the invoice, it said somebody else's address and name.
Yeah. Oh,
So I called up In Stock. I told them the situation, and I emailed the person because his email was on it. I emailed the person and told them that, hey, In Stock messed up the order. They're going to give me a label, and I'm going to ship this to you once I, get the label from them.
Yeah.
And so, he responded. He said, "Oh, thanks, man." I sent him his package, and he got it. And mistakes happen.
Friends ever since. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, mistakes happen, but you don't want them to happen a lot. And that was like the first major mistake that I got from In Stock Trades. But luckily, like I said, when I saw that invoice, I knew it was a mistake, and I just emailed both In Stock and the person who was supposed to get that.
That's good, man.
Cover both sides.
Yeah. I think it's easy for a lot of retailers to act like, nope, I didn't get this box. I didn't get this stuff. And then like they just have like this extra stock of stuff that they can just turn around and sell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready to jump off right here.
All right, cool, man.
All right. Well, all right.
All right, guys.
See you later.
It was great talking to you, Randall. Great.
Yeah, man. Same here, man. It was great. Stay Puft 1983. I'm gonna guess 1983 was when you were born.
Yep.
Yeah, me too, man.
All right, man. You what month?
December.
Right.
Oh, I'm September.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You already forgot the day was my birthday?
Yeah.
I was kidding.
All
All right. See you guys later.
Later,
See you
man.
later.
Take it easy, man.
Later. Yep. Well, I mean, but Brenda, we're pretty much done if you want to call it because Tim's not going to show up. Tim's tired, man. Tim's had a long week.
Oh, sure.
You can imagine. You can imagine how long his week's been, man. He's been working at both things. I think he's working at the play too. I think.
Oh yeah.
Or
'Cause
does
I
that
know,
start-
like the weekends, he's busy with he's got a lot of the acting gigs he's going. He says I remember him saying too, like the acting gigs for this month are there. It's a lot. He does a lot of business with the acting gigs for this month. So I totally get it. He's super busy.
That's cool.
Just want to see some comments here before we close out. Make sure we got everybody.
Yeah. William was the one talking the most out of everybody. Like I said, we need to get William on the show, man. More often,
back, right?
Yeah, because he likes talking in the comments. I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah. No, William's great, man. I always enjoy talking with William.
Yeah.
What did he say? The cool thing is that these shows are just pressuring other networks and studios to up their game. The Boys, Doom Patrol, his Dark Materials. I still gotta watch his Dark Materials. Yeah. Realistically, she left them both stranded in the middle of the enemy army.
I think he was talking about something else, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. I bought 2 Straczynski books yesterday. Books A Million had Superman Earth 1, volumes 2 and 3. Oh, sweet. For 2 and that's a damn good deal.
Yeah.
William just is a Jedi. He's a Jedi master at getting like great deals of comics.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And then sometimes when shops are closing down too, you get some pretty decent deals too.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah, he's gonna check out Tim's play, Venus something.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know what? I always like put stuff here to the side to show off, and I forget to show it off, because we get so involved in talking. So I'm going to show off a couple things that I bought.
Yeah,
these are pretty much.
I'll make it bigger. I was going to ask you what you got. I was going to ask you what you got.
So I pretty much I got these. I got these for myself as a birthday gift for myself.
Okay.
It was a Cyber Monday deal through DC Universe.
Okay.
Show off the first one right here. I got the True King of Atlantis.
It's not Namor. I'm just kidding. I'm messing.
Namor's the true douchebag of
well, winglets. What his little winglets?
It's cool. He's got like the 90s the hook hand.
Yeah. The hook hand. Cool. Yeah.
Even his chain moves a little bit when I shake it.
Yeah, that's cool. You're gonna take it out of the box.
You know what? My goal is to buy doubles. So when I get the doubles, those ones I'm going to open up. These ones I think I'm going to keep closed because the other ones that I got as a gift from DC Universe.
Okay. For
participating in the community. The first figure that they sent me was a Martian Manhunter, and then when I went to the DC event in I want to say February, March, I went to the DC event in Los Angeles. They paid for the flight. They paid for the hotel. It was awesome. And, at the end, they gave you like a goodie bag, and the goodie bag had 4 of the figures. So I got like a Batman figure, Green Lantern, Flash, and I think Hawkgirl. I'll have to double check the figures. They're here somewhere.
Right.
Annie Faust. Happy birthday.
Oh, yeah, because, I told the friend, I told the comic book G-Spot, my co-host from my midnight show from Saturday. Yeah.
Oh, and then
about Tim having Faust.
Yeah. Here's the other thing I'm going to show
Yeah.
off. Here we go. I finally got myself a
Kind of
Superman.
figured.
I'm a huge
Yeah, I was
Superman.
wondering where that was.
Huh?
I was wondering where your Superman figure was. I go, oh, that's Aquaman. I thought it was a Superman figure.
Yeah. They had these on sale for like, I don't know, like $11, $12 each.
That's not too bad. That's not
Yeah,
too
yeah.
bad.
I mean, they try to sell them for like $28, I think.
Yeah.
And then
But
you add in
yeah,
shipping.
Go back to- half of
$3.
them are probably made in China, anyways.
Probably Taiwan.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, and you can probably get them
Nope,
cheaper in
yeah,
Taiwan.
manufactured in Guangdong, China.
Yeah, told you. So you probably can get them cheaper in China. No Mylar today. I'm telling telling our friend here.
Oh, yeah.
telling Robert. Yeah, no
Madness.
Mylar today. He's busy today.
No
His
madness.
acting gigs are busy.
That's
Just
okay.
keep him busy. That's okay. You get to see Randall's pretty face.
Not
Yeah.
bad for 36.
hmm
I needed to get a
I'm
haircut.
almost there.
Yeah, how old
I'm
are you?
only-
Jeff?
33. So
33?
I'm almost there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're wise for your age.
Yeah, pretty much for right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
man.
yeah, I just
I
want to
got
show
some
off.
I got some pretty decent books coming from Chad and then from Yancey Street South, because he
Nice.
had a couple of books at the house, and he at his house. So he goes, "Oh yeah, I thought of you when I saw these books." It's Lucio Perillo's first works from Red Sonja, so I'm excited
Oh.
for that.
Nice.
Yeah. And then it's a butt shot of Red Sonja like holding a sword and an axe. It's pretty
Nice.
funny. And then he goes, I was wondering why it goes for so much, and I joked around with him. It's probably because of the butt. It's probably because it's a butt shot. Not only that, but it's his first work too from any type of comic company.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah. That's like
Yeah, so-
I have a Action Comics comic, like an issue.
Yeah.
I forget what issue number it is, but they
Right.
they actually notated in some of like the DC Wikipedia page,
Uh-huh.
and I think CGC notates it as well in the grade, that it's the first Mark Waid's professional work. So
Right.
he wrote like a short story in the Action Comics. And
Right.
so hopefully one day, like I get to meet him again, and I've met him like several times. He's always nice.
Yeah, I met him a couple of times too.
I feel bad.
He was really
last
nice.
times I saw him, he was right by the bathroom eating like a pretzel or something like that, or a hot dog. And I was like on my way to the bathroom, but I was like, "Hey, what's up, Mark?" And he was just like, "Hey," just trying to just
Yeah.
enjoy his food, And it's like, "Sorry."
Yeah. But he's always nice though, man. And the funny thing is, him and his wife has his own comic shop. They actually have their own comic
they
shop.
own a percentage of a comic book store. I forget the
Yeah.
name of it.
Owl or Ally or something like that. It starts with an A. I know that.
I
And
forget.
then it looks like a little kid drew the little sign, and it's pretty funny.
Oh, okay, yeah, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
it looks like in crown and everything. It's pretty cool.
You
Yeah.
should have called it like Kingdom Come Comics or something.
Yeah, well, they have a bunch of that store has a bunch of Kingdom Come stuff from Kingdom Come anyway. So
Oh yeah, because
That's
he wrote it.
yeah,
William
I
says
mean,
Chad is a great guy. Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
He's one of the best in the biz, man. Super nice.
yeah.
I
can't-
I can't think of anything bad to say about the guy.
Yeah. But I've always liked talking to him too, man. Like, oh yeah, he jokes around. He looks in a box. He goes, oh yeah, I know you like the Vampirella stuff. The
He remembers you.
Yeah. He goes, yeah, the Red Sonja stuff, and he's looking through the box, and he pulled all these out. He goes,
Nice.
yeah. So he pulled all these out. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
I got
that.
to follow up with my buddy who has all those Vampirellas. So
Yeah.
when he gets back to me, hopefully he'll have pictures and I can show them to you.
Yeah, because if it's the first generation of when she was with Diamond, if it's the Crown of Worms especially,
Yeah.
that's the run I'm really missing. So
Okay.
yeah, I'll get that. I'll get with you and everything. So
Sweet.
well, let's sign off.
Yeah.
See you guys later. We're pretty much done with the show. Mylar Madness couldn't make it. It was a little busy this week, so we'll see you guys next week. All right.
See you later, everyone.
See you later, everybody. I hate this damn sometimes you have to hit it twice.